Question 13, Mr. Moorhouse, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to ask Her Majesty's Attorney what assessments are made of current sentencing decisions by Ireland courts and the consideration of public opinion.
Learned Attorney General to reply.
Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you, the Honourable Member, for your question and the opportunity to explain my position. Whilst the functions of my role include superintendence of criminal prosecutions, I do not have any function in deciding appropriate sentencing practice or in making decisions in that regard about any individual criminal prosecution case. Sentencing in every case is a matter reserved solely for the presiding judicial officers. Where once a sentence has been imposed by the court, I am of the opinion that the sentence is too lenient, or where I consider that the court may have erred in law as regards its sentencing power for the offence. Section 41 of the Criminal Justice Act 1993 gives me the power to seek leave to appeal the sentence. It is therefore part of the function of my office to consider the outcome of all successful criminal prosecutions in relation to the sentence imposed, and I proactively personally review such cases upon the request of my Director of Prosecutions or her team members as they return from the sentencing court. In such cases, I consider all relevant factors before coming to my decision over whether to seek leave to appeal the sentence. However, it is important that when exercising my power, I do not sway to public opinion or political pressure. The decision is a public interest one and not a political one. I carefully review all circumstances of the case, including established sentencing guidelines and practice, and exercise my judgment in an appropriate manner by fully reviewing the merits of an appeal before making my decision. Where I do decide to make a reference and seek leave to appeal, and where leave is granted, appeal proceedings will commence. And in those circumstances, I am not able to comment on that particular case until the appeal proceedings have finished. Thank you, Mr.
Mr.
President.
Moorhouse, supplementary.
Thank you for that very detailed answer. In terms of reviewing whether a case is too lenient, is that something that is brought before you? Is that something that other people are suggesting within chambers, or could it come from individual people within the community?
Learned Attorney.
Thank you, Mr. President. As I've mentioned in my answer, I would expect my Director of Prosecution and my prosecution team members to bring any matter that they are concerned about the sentence imposed to my attention. But I must assure you and honourable members that it is then a personal review which I take into account the guidelines that may have been issued by the court itself with reference to its sentencing practices, with reference to the decisions that may have been made in other matters, in other cases of a similar nature, and I do have regard to public interest. I can also say to honourable members that from time to time I do receive letters as attorney with views expressed by members of the public, and clearly I will read those and I will take them into account.
Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. President. Could I ask Mr. Attorney what impact he feels that a Sentencing Guidelines Council, as envisioned in the Justice Reform Bill, will have in this overall area, please?
Mr. Attorney.
Very brief, Mr. President, I think would be of great value.
How?
Moving on. Mr. Speaker.
How, Mr. President?
Sorry, Mr. President, just by way of guidance, in the context of my decision making, because as I say, I've got to carry out a review, and also by way of some guidance to the court.